to the ramp. And so that's why we've included a slightly wider area for ADA turnaround. So these are the most current plans. There was a preliminary set submitted. We did submit a management plan in June. I don't know if that's part of the board's file, but it was transmitted to the village, and we can certainly update your files for that. There is a management plan that's required as part of the submission. So we could, now that these plans are completed, what we'll probably do is just review that again, make sure it's complete for these plans, but it has quite a bit of detailed information on contracting, maintenance, oversight, and just making sure that there is management consideration of this installation for the future. So both Chris and I are here if you have any questions, and that's the current plans.
What do you plan on putting the RPZ though, and or the wall?
I think there is an option for check valves, but Chris, I know is going to speak to that.
Sure. It's right now it's very conceptual in nature. Speaking with the building inspector, we determined that reaching out to Water Authority at this point seems to be the best course. See exactly what they're looking for. The system down at the beach may not have any RPZ whatsoever, so it might make sense to put it upline of. There's an existing hose tube in this location when you first go into the park, and also one down by the boat ramp. So at that time it might be prudent to protect that each component of the water supply system.
So we had last week had gone through some of the plans. We had some bullets questions. Maybe Rob, you want to go through some of those?
Yeah, you already answered the navigation. So you're saying there's going to be like solar lights?
Yeah, we're gonna put solar lights on the seaward house tiles, one on each one.
Obviously visible.
White solar light. Yeah.
And was it DEC that determined the actual depth of the water all the way through for the entire length of the dock?
The DEC requires 2.5 minimum feet at low water on the floats themselves.
You were doing
We had
3.5
maximum, 2.5 on the landward side of the float. Yeah, let's go to that on the second slide.
So is it possible to turn that, or is this system full?
Say it again?
It's not possible to get to 3.5 at the back of the floats unless we extend the entire assembly. So as you can see, it's about 2.5 at the back, about 3.5 at the seaward extent. That would comply with the DEC's requirements, but it's not consistent with the village code as it's written currently.
Seems like we were at a point where we had to make a decision between length or water depth. Just to hold to what it seems to be the first part in the written code, the 195 feet of length. So we chose that direction. So it should be understood that this will be shallow at low tides, especially during lunar tides. So that should be considered whether one variance versus the other, the length or the depth is more important to the board.
Yeah, I think we were discussing the depth as 4 feet to get the maximum use, the size of the boat that would utilize the dock. And so there wasn't, the DEC requires a minimum of 2.5 feet, you said? And of course, the float can't touch the ground. That was
Correct.
That's their main reason for the 2.5, to keep the floats from resting on the bottom.
And basically, it'd be 2.5 and 3 feet, 3.5 feet. 2.5 in the front, 3.5 in the back. Then you're saying?
At low water. 2.5 at the landward side, 3.5 at the seaward side.
And low water is is that low water? How is that?
Technically it is. Chris was researching that
There's
today.
about 2 inches difference in this area between mean low and mean lower low.
Okay.
So we chose the more stringent just to provide us a little extra, buffer in that water depth. But 2 inches is really pretty minor.
Status on the permits, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I'm happy to say that we do have comments from both the town of Brookhaven and DEC, and they were very minor. We expect that the revised set of plans that's before you tonight, when resubmitted, will answer the comments that we have, and I know it's been a complete application from the DEC. And the town's comments were very minor, they, nothing that really affected the design. So we plan to submit these plans as revised plans to both agencies. The permits have not been issued yet, which is good. We don't have to modify them, and we expect that they would be permitted based on the preliminary comments. The Army Corps of Engineers always lags behind on these, so we will have to resubmit to them as well, and I would not expect any issues with the Army Corps based on other projects that we've done.
Okay. And floats, is it gonna be one float or two?
Floats.
Two floats that are gonna be connected?
Correct. Yeah, the village code maxes out at 20 foot, 8 by 20 max on the floats, and that's also what we have, as donated to the village. So we're reusing that one 8 by 20, and then we're just maxing out the second to be constructed float to give us the maximum length we can get within the length parameters we have.
I guess we have questions.
So the reason that we have two floats is because we got one donated. I mean, is there an engineering reason why we wouldn't want a 30-foot float?
It's village code that 8 by 20 is the maximum float length.
Right. Yeah.
So if we could vary from that. With a 30-foot long float, I think we would still probably have the same kind of tile configuration. That's a pretty long length of float, given the conditions of the location, being that it's pretty much a straight shot from the mouth of the harbor to the dock. You're going to see some waves during storms.
Right.
I guess there's some questions about the pilings on those floating,
Sure.
if they're on the inside or outside, because basically they're looking at people pull up from the dock.
Mm-hmm.
The pilings, would it be possible to actually moor up with the pilings on the outside, or would it be on the inside as far as your
As far as
So we were the center two pilings.
Mhm.
The docks would be more usable if they were in between the two floating docks,
sure.
with kind of a little.
So
ramp
putting
between them.
the piles in between the two floating docks, I spoke to Chesterfield, the contractor that you had been in contact with previously on this dock, and their recommendation, their initial reaction was that they have never seen that configuration with one float and the pile in between both floats, just because you have a system where you can either connect it with the chain or a typical pile hoop. I did some research to see if there was a double-sided pile hoop, and there's not, at least in readily available marine supply. However, they do make systems where you can recess the floats, the piles within the float structure itself. That is, definitely more complicated with removing it. Yeah, at the seasonal removal becomes a challenge on that. I haven't done a ton of research, of removing that type of pile connection, but
So I've certainly seen docks with piles
in between.
them, but I don't know whether that's, I don't know how survivable that is.
Yeah.
in that kind of-
It's certainly
that
not
kind
too
of
common.
situation.
People are creative, so I'm
Yeah.
sure you could make it work.
Well, it's just that when you have a pile that's centered like that, once you exceed a 20-foot boat or something like that,
Sure.
Making dock.
I think it's about 15 feet on either side is the clear space.
Right, and so, when you get a little bit of rounding for the bow, and having done this in various docks, I know that tying a larger boat up to them.
Yep, they get in the way.
Problem.
We're open to suggestions. We did have, costs certainly
Right,
and
yeah.
available
Yeah.
products and materials in mind. And did feel that at least if you had 15 feet clear and the outboard ends, both, inshore and outshore, were open, that it would be manageable. There are many piers, Port Jefferson Yacht Club for one, where you have a row of pilings on the outside and you work between them. So in this case,
Right, yeah.
you're completely open on the outboard side and the inboard side to work, and you do have a pile in the middle, but as we said, we kind of wrestled with this, but seemed to be the compromise solution that at least was achievable in terms of cost and materials.
Right, yeah, again, it's just the size of the boat that becomes dockable there is reduced.
And in terms of the permit, that really wouldn't have, if there was some change in the configuration of that to recess these poles, it's not gonna really change the,
I wouldn't expect any real issues from the agencies. As a matter of fact, they're going toward,
still the same number of poles and.
Mhm.
So I mean, and it might be a, cost consideration.
Right.
If the village, we could recommend, but,
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's not engineering feasible, then
right.
maybe it's not doable, but.
Enough time and money. You know, almost anything done.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
we're open to suggestions from all you voters.
it could be that the ones that I've seen have been.
Does that mean we can talk? No.
Two sets of poles, one for each.
Mhm.
Simple solution would be to just back in.
Right.
Hang out at the end of it.
That's not always feasible.
No.
Depends on the size of your boat.
Correct.
And if it's a sailboat, you sort of want the deeper end of your boat at the deeper end of the
Sailboats
bow.
will need to go in.
Sailboats are nice though, because they're usually wider at the beam and,
Right,
narrow
yeah,
at both stern and bow.
yeah.
Okay, I apologize. The water hookup, is it actually like at the very end, does it run the length of it? Where exactly
Yeah.
is that at now?
So what we're showing right now, so we talked about the connection point down at the existing hose bib. And we run it out to the pier, and just run it along the substructure of the pier itself. In between the stringers, you can just clip it to to the structural underneath parts of the pier. So at the end of the pier, it'll just be a standard hose bib to spray off your boat.
Okay.
So it's no real water hookup, but it's for just cleaning off maintenance.
And you said solar lights are gonna be the preferred method as far as lighting?
Yeah, in discussions, you do have power that goes down to the end of Washington Street. However, it's in the public right of way, so it would have to be metered. So there would be a new meter put on here and run out. And because we're down in the flood zone area, there's other additional electrical requirements that would have to be met. So the decision to go with solar seemed to be the simplest route to provide the dock with its safety lighting.
Is lighting the same?
Lighting's the same.
It's all downward facing?
Downward facing. Pergola style, downward facing. Very standard for dock lighting.
Same lumen?
Same lumen. I don't think that a particular model was selected before, at least not that I was made aware of. More of the style is what was relayed to me.
What can they match?
Yeah.
What's the difference in cost?
I do not know. That can be certainly looked into.
You mean between running electrical and using solar?
Yeah, so make sure there's a note about like
Meter and
the difference in the luminosity in solar versus electrical effect.
And it's also a safety factor, which is really more important.
Mm-hmm.
And the last question, I guess, there was discussion on the actual end of the variance as far as the EDA, as far as the wheelchair access to be able to turn around. Is it like set in stone or is it one of those?
Pretty much set in stone. I'll explain to you how I got to the dimensions. The bare minimum, so this is a public dock. In 2010, ADA had been revised to include recreational boating facilities. The requirements are very minimal. Access to the piers, the floating docks are required to have a clear area of 5-foot diameter sphere or circle every 10 feet. So really nothing that impacts typical design. However, for an accessible route, which appear to be considered, you have to have turnaround areas and changes in direction. And so turning around 180 degrees is a change in direction. So a 5-foot minimum radius is required. So the reason it's a little exceeding that is really just to work with the timber construction. As you can see here, we got the dock stringers going out essentially on the inside of every pile group. And for this last section, we just put another board on the outside. And that's really, the bare minimum using pretty standard construction.
So the poles aren't changing, the pole configuration stays the same. It's just
Yeah.
extending string.
So it was reached to this configuration for constructability as well as meeting the code.
So I missed the original meeting where you guys were at, but I thought there was a question about increasing the distance between the poles are at 6 foot on center, is that what I'm seeing?
They're typically at 8 foot on center for the main length of the pier.
Uh-huh.
You can see it's called out, there's a 8 foot on center.
Okay.
Okay, and at the end of the pier where we have,
Oh, I see, so that's where it's.
yep, it's really just that last section. I reduced it to 6 to get us a little bit smaller of a space, minimize it down to something like
And increasing the diameter of the poles, does that let you make them further apart, so we have fewer poles, or is that
No.
something that's good or bad?
To space them further apart, you will modify the connections between each pile,
Okay.
so you'll up those sizing.
I see, okay.
The diameter really is, for mostly it's for wear and tear. There will be quite a bit of, biological attack on
Right, yeah.
on the timber and the water.
Storm cross bracing?
Say it again?
Storm cross bracing.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yes, we got cross bracing up above above mean high water. We have 3x8 cross bracing, real sturdy, pretty standard
And that's throughout the length of the,
throughout the entirety, every pile group.
And is that's so that's bracing across the width of the dock, not along the length of the dock?
Correct. Yes, that is just into the page, across between each pile group. And you can think about the dominant wave direction on this as well. It's going to take a lateral loading, more than towards the shore.
Well, that's good, because that also means it's easier for people to walk along the beach as well.
Yes, correct. It won't obstruct the beach. And at its minimum, up against the existing stone is, I think it's about 4.5 feet. So, as you can imagine, it'll just get farther as you go down the beach.
Right.
So, it's low right up against the existing stone
Right.
wall. And that's what the stairs are for.
How many parking spaces are they leaving?
I don't have that on hand.
No questions regarding, so you guys did a secret review?
We have not at this time. The state C will be contact the secret review or look for the village to do secret.
Okay.
I would certainly recommend the secret be completed. I would do that for the EAF and a determination of significance would be the recommended procedure.
So that's something that you need to do before.
Yes, before any final decision is made.
secret report should be handed in with the, DEC,
Why is he asking
We
questions
did
when we
prepare
can't?
an environmental assessment
not on
form
the
for
board.
DEC. So if the village either acts independently, because the
He's on the board,
coordinated
he's
review
an
is not
alternate.
necessary, the state can issue their own determination. But if there is no coordinated review, then the village planning board should do seeker as well.
that's what we refer to as a short form versus the long form.
You may be able to use a short form on this, yes, which in effect is a determination in itself.
Is there any other questions?
As far as the answer, everything was done last time.
Are there any other changes that need to be made to this plan before our next meeting? Say that again? Are there any other changes that need to be made to these plans before our next meeting?
The decking is,
Graded, it's
great,
a,
yeah, that's where, I guess we,
it's a product called, True Flow Decking. It's a, fiber reinforced, polymer. So it's gonna be a lot more comfortable to walk on than, like an aluminum grating. It's, you know, see it popping up in a lot more places. It's a really great product. They have large, 4x4 panels, so ease of installation as well. And it's very cost effective compared to aluminum. And the strength is great.
Low in cost.
Easier on maintenance too.
Yes.
Yep.
It's really great decking product.
Allows light
Everything is-
penetration if there were to be vegetated wetlands along that portion of the shoreline. I should mention that based on prior board input, we have also included installation of Spartina alterniflora, intertidal marsh grass, in the area of the old Oyster House Foundation. It's an area where Spartina is currently growing. We feel that because there is Spartina there now, it's very compatible in that location, probably because of some of the old timber structure that remains there. Whereas on the open beach, it really has not been able to establish, so we are supplementing that area. That is on these plans, right?
Yes, it's not showing this.
Spartina penetration. So we basically replicated the elevation
It should
along the beach of the
Not
existing
the beach.
Spartina.